Welcome back to the Infinite Endurance Podcast. I'm your host, Philip J. Sebastiani, and on today's episode of the Big Texas Ultra 100K Championship pre-race interviews, we have Nicholas Wittkopp. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, and I'm really excited to hear your story and your preparation for the race because as I scoured Ultra Sign Up, you've only done one race.
Yeah, yeah, I haven't done a lot. This one's actually going to be my longest race I've ever done. So a little bit nervous, but it should be fine. I think I've done adequate enough training for it.
Yeah, and as I've kind of just surmised then, is that you are no stranger to running in general, right? So I kind of want to hear for, those who, don't know Nicholas Wittkopp, tell us about who you are and why you decided to do East Texas Ultra for your qualifier and the championship.
All right. So the reason why I picked Texas, what is it, the East Austin or East, sorry, live out of Austin. East Texas Ultra is because I really liked like the medal system, how they have like the little Texas. I want to, get the magnets and actually get the whole Texas thing. I thought that was kind of cool. I also saw there was like a little bit of a cash prize, so I thought it'd be really cool to race against, really challenge myself because the money's gonna bring competitive people in, I thought, and really challenge myself and do something I'm not really familiar with. My running background, I ran collegiately. I ran at Ranger College. It's a JUCO, and then I ran at UTPB. And yeah, it was more faster stuff like 5K, 10Ks, 8Ks. I did one half marathon, but the longer distances aren't really my strong suit. I kind of struggle with the long run, so I thought it'd be a really good challenge for me.
All right. Yeah, and like you mentioned, this will be your first your longest race, right? So this race is
Hmm.
100K,
Yeah.
and with that comes its own types of training, say benchmarks or things we want to make sure we're prepared for. How have you prepared yourself for those?
I really just focus on just really working on like, I kind of struggle with long runs. So just really focusing on like getting used to just more time on my feet, being out there for hours on hours and just working on time on feet. I actually kind of gave up a little bit of my speed, tempo runs, fast stuff, just to focus purely on just going a long distance and a lot of time on my feet. So I just been really accumulating that. I got up to about 9 hours of time on feet, not, for the week, not accumulative. And I kind of gave up on mileage, like how many miles I'm doing, just focus purely time on feet. And I got up to a decent amount, and I'm kind of really familiar with, longer distances. And I've even dabbled a little bit more, like putting a little bit more speed into my runs just recently. And yeah, I feel like yeah, it's been a real learning experience and challenge for me because I'm training for a distance I haven't really raced before. And I've done two different ultras before, but I've even in East Texas, I struggled with that when I was cramping up. I probably didn't get my nutrition exactly right. And I've done a 50 miler before, but that one was a slog. I really struggled. I had no nutrition plans during the race, and I almost like full body cramps, and it was a tough one. It was a good learning experience.
Yeah, do you mind mentioning which ones those were?
Oh
I'm
yeah,
just curious.
yeah. The 50K, which I did, is the East Texas Ultra. It was just really hot and humid, and that's probably why it cramped up. I was taking a little bit of salt in and electrolytes, but it just wasn't enough for how hot and humid it was. I think it was like 90 degree, like in the 90s, and then also like because it's East Texas, 90-ish% humidity. So you're just like losing all your water. And then the 50 miler I did with my friend, I went to go visit him in Ecuador, and it was a UTMB 50 miler at Quito. So it was a pretty big race. And yeah, we just really didn't plan on nutrition, and it really kicked my butt.
Yeah, I found that, as we get into the ultra distances, it's nutrition does become an important thing. And I have a similar kind of background to you where I ran collegiately as well. And it was like, well, we never ran really over an hour and a half, right? Like
Yeah.
now we're asking ourselves to do 10 times that. But yeah, I was gonna then kind of shift gears here and talk about then your mindset going into this week, furthest distance you've ever run. I mean, what's cool about this race is there's regional qualifiers, but the state of Texas is so diverse and where you live and train terrain wise is so different than where at the championship race actually is near Austin. So go
Mm-hmm.
ahead and share those thoughts with me.
Yeah, absolutely. So where I live, I actually live in Bastrop. And have you ever been to Bastrop or ran over here? There's actually a cool, really cool state park. It's Bastrop State Park. A lot of it's sand. You're running in sand. It's pine trees. It's really beautiful. But the championship's going to be at Purnell State Park and Flat Creek. And if you ever been that way, it's really low hanging cedar trees and very rocky. So it's a little bit different than what I train over here. Training over here in sand, it's like tough on your muscles, but it's really easy on your feet because it's soft and stuff like that. But over there, the rocks. My goal or my strategy for being over there is really just focus on not twisting my ankle because I feel like that terrain it's gonna be very hard not to twist your ankle. So just kind of pick and choose when to run faster, when to walk it, because I'm sure there's going to be spots where we're going to have to walk with if you're trying not to twist your ankle or risk twisting your ankle. And I think it's just going to be, you got to pick and choose when you want to be strategic with your energy and focus on not twisting your ankle. At least I think that's going to be a big part of it because it's going to be pretty hard to finish a 100K if you've twisted your ankle 6 times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So I guess going more than specific like race day things, like your strategy for pacing and fueling, have you over the last few months pinpointed those areas of improvement and practiced those things and feel confident?
Yeah, there's a few like electrolyte drinks, I'm planning to use and fueling, that I'm planning to use during the race. And I've experimented. I've done like sandwiches and pumpkin pie. I've also done all sorts of gels and just to kind of get your stomach used to, digesting stuff while you're running. Yeah, I have a electrolyte mix and also some gels I had planned during the race. Also gonna have like some things at the main aid station I'm just setting to aside in case I want something different. Because when you're 50 miles into a race, you never know what you want or what you'll be feeling, I would imagine. Yeah, I think I'm just really gonna be focusing on pacing myself, not going out too quick, making sure I'm getting enough fueling and not twisting my ankle. Yeah, and there's gonna be some fast. I think there's gonna be some fast points in the race where you'll actually be able to run fast. It's not only gonna be super technical. So I'm just planning to take advantage of those fast portions and not go too quick, but take advantage of the opportunity to go fast on those sections.
Yeah, and definitely with the advent of like the course map being on CalTopo, you can identify those points. And since it's a two loop, 50K each loop, it's those sections where you can push and pull back. I did have a question again about fueling. Are you kind of bought into this high carb frenzy or?
You know, I yeah, I think I'm gonna just be using a lot of carbs. I'm kind of come from a faster background, 5Ks, 10Ks, and my body's really used to just using pretty much only carbs. And yeah, I don't think it's really gonna be a slow enough race or long enough race for me to really worry about consuming fats. And yeah, I've kind of went into just mostly focusing on consuming carbs. And that's a lot of my strategies, focusing on carbs, electrolytes, and just make sure I get enough fueling, not overtaxing my stomach too much.
Yeah, because in a way it becomes an eating contest who can
Yeah.
eat, who can keep it down. And
Yeah.
yeah, and definitely on paper you have one of the fastest qualifying times, especially when you consider the heat and humidity at the East Texas Ultra. So you're definitely one we're looking at to be out in the front of the race. And I just want to shift into like your own goals and expectations. Is it really just kind of finishing? You mentioned the prize money being a motivating factor, but what are your goals for race day?
Yeah, I would really like to get under 10 hours. I think that'd be really awesome. And if I have the opportunity to do so, I will. But I do think this is going to be a more technical course. So you know, I'm loosely holding that 10-hour goal. If I get one lap in and it's right for the taking, I'm going to push for it. But, you know, if I'm not going to burn out too quick in order to try to get this goal, that might be a little bit a little bit too optimistic because it's a technical course. Yeah, paces and stuff like that. It's kind of hard to judge it on a more technical course on this. Especially this is a distance I haven't done before. I'm planning to just, I have plenty of, good adequate training, and I think I can do a really good effort. And my goal is just go out there, do a great effort, and if I have the opportunity to do below 10 hours, I'm gonna do it.
Of that. That's a great mentality. So in terms of like support systems, are you because this is the furthest you've ever gone, so are you planning crew or are you gonna just aid station, carry your own stuff?
I'm gonna mostly be carrying my own stuff. I've been kind of debating whether to do a vest or do something lighter. I think I'm gonna go, just water bottles and go a little bit lighter because how the aid stations are situated. I think it gives me enough allowance I can do it. My family's actually coming out just to crew me, so it's gonna be a little bit of a learning experience for them, and they can kind of see, the ultra world, which is a fun experience.
Yeah, definitely, when they're used to maybe watching you 20, 25, 28 minutes or whatever race, watching you on a track, they can see you and don't have to worry about is he coming or is he gonna be here?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely a different twist on it all.
yeah, or you're sitting down for 10 hours and waiting. It's a
Yeah,
little
that's
bit
also
different
the
than a 5K.
Yeah, because really, if you're moving well and moving through, your aid station stops are probably going to be pretty minimal. So it's like they're seeing you for minutes at a time out of this 10-hour chunk.
Yeah, but I'm really glad that they're willing to come out and
hmm
support me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know you say you're new to the ultra world and really excited to see how you do this week. But is there any kind of competitive pressure you think you'd be feeling, or have you been kind of studying on the field at all, or are you interested in any of that, or are you just going to do your own thing?
I'm probably just gonna do my own thing. I might tag along with somebody if they're at a good pace, really close to the pace that I want to go at the beginning. I'm really just really gonna be focusing on my own plan, own ship. Everybody else can do what they want. I'm not gonna be, tugged out of my plan if somebody takes off. I feel like I have a good plan, just, real nice pace that I'm planning to do. And I'm just planning to stick to my plan. I haven't really researched too much. I did see the course record for the last course, but again, it's a different course, so yeah, it doesn't matter so much. Uh, yeah, just planning to stick to my own plan.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it shows a lot of maturity because ultra running in its essence is patience. So different from the 5K where you could suffer for 2 miles. You could hang on for the last mile, right? It's hard to hang on
Yeah,
for 30 miles if you make any
yeah.
mistakes.
If you take off too fast on a 5K, you know, you run, I don't know, if you're planning to do like five flat and you run 440, you'll probably be able to survive the next 2 miles and be pretty close to five flat and just suffer through. But if you start an ultra marathon at like 6:30 pace and you do that for 10 miles, you're gonna be suffering a great deal.
Yeah,
You might not finish.
exactly.
Yeah. Um, as far as, being nervous, it's such a long race. It really kind of takes some of the nervousness out because like no matter what, you're planning to start pretty conservative. Yeah, so it's not like a half marathon. Okay, you're not starting off on a almost sprint. You're just, get in, maybe a little bit quick, 7:30, something like that, kind of settle into a nice slower pace. Nothing too crazy.
Nice. And finally here, I want if you could sum up just your mindset in one word heading into the race this weekend, what would it be?
I would say it's pretty patient. It's patience. Yeah, just it's getting started, getting through. It's a really long race. So just being patient through the process, even if people are in front of me, just be patient with my body, seeing how everything's going, and the process of the race. Because just because you're fifth place, 30 miles in, you still got like over 40 miles to go. So a lot can happen in a long race like this. And just being patient with my plan, patient with the day.
That's great. Well, thank you, Nicholas, for coming on and giving us a little bit of insight into who you are, your preparations for the big Texas K Championship. We look forward to seeing how you do on Saturday and we wish you the best of luck out there.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.